Hello and welcome to Grumpy Old Men. We are here again, being grumpy on your behalf so you don't have to be. And King of the Grumps are here, Mike and Kev. You feeling grumpy?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Well, car parks, Mike.
Yes.
Tell me how grumpy you are about that.
Well, car parks are necessary parts of our lives quite often now. Because,
especially if you have a car.
Yeah. Especially if you have a car. Because there's nowhere to park, is there?
No.
Because most of the roads now have been completely changed. Their use is no longer...
They're very good if you've got a bicycle, the roads. Now,
Yeah, but you can't actually park a car on a road now because inevitably there's no inside lane to park on because it's either a bus lane or it's a cycle lane or it's a pavement which is too wide and there's double yellow lines or double red lines and it's just hopeless. So you end up finding yourself in these multi-storey car parks. And I found myself in one in Birmingham recently. And
centre of the universe.
Yeah, and I couldn't get out of it because there were no signs.
Wait, why? Just as a matter of interest.
Yeah.
Why were you in Birmingham?
I was at a conference.
Any particular conference?
Yeah, the Reform Party conference. Yes.
Party conference.
Where I was invited to attend in my capacity as a neutral journalist.
You were there. You were there with our favourite, weren't you, Jeremy?
Jeremy Kyle, yeah.
Jeremy Kyle.
He was there.
Did he get lost in the car park as well?
I don't know what happened to him.
He doesn't drive himself.
No,
though,
he doesn't. He's got drivers and stuff like that.
He's got people with sedan chairs and stuff like that.
He gets carried around. I don't know.
Gets carried around on a velvet cushion.
But so I parked the car. First of all, I have a tendency to sort of park slightly over the line because
Because you're not very good at parking.
No, because I don't want somebody to park next to my car and smash it at the door, right?
Oh, so you take two spaces, is what
you're
saying?
Not really, just sort of encroach slightly so that I try and discourage people from parking next to me.
Or make it easier.
Yeah, but if they do park next to you, you're going to be...
or you make it easier for them to damage your car.
That's the problem, because then
there's
some guy in an old banger parks right next to me, right?
Not like
so I
your
can only open the
vehicle.
door and right up against
That's because you parked in their lane.
Well, there were other spaces, right?
I'm more concerned about the fact that last week you were quite rude about old people.
Yeah.
But you can't even find your way out of a car park.
So anyway, eventually, I had to get in on the wrong side of the car and clamber over, which was a lot easier.
Is there any footage of that?
No. But actually, it was a lot easier in the car I've got now than I'd had to do it once in a Range Rover, which was really hard.
Yeah,
and I got sort of stuck. I get up against the roof, you know.
You weren't on your way to Kev's second home in that Range Rover.
No, I wasn't, no, funnily enough.
I sold that, by the way.
So
you'll be interested to know.
Yeah, no.
I didn't have any trouble selling it.
Probably at a time. Probably at a time when you could sell houses, not like now. Probably at a huge profit as well, was it?
I did do okay.
He does very well on property. You should seek his guidance. Anyway, so I reverse out, finally, get the car out, and I come to the end, and you can see where I came in because there's barriers over here, right?
And the skid marks.
Yeah, because I had to go round someone, obviously. And then the arrow is kind of pointing left, so I go left, and then...
Kind of pointing left or pointing left?
Well, it was pointing left.
Okay.
You couldn't go right, okay? You just couldn't. So I go left, and then you come to another bit here, and there's the lift where I came out, and it goes left again, so I go left again. And meanwhile, presumably because it's Birmingham, some bloke in a sort of souped-up Subaru behind me going in a car, and I'm going, I don't know what he's doing. So I'm then sort of going back down, and I thought, well, there's no exit sign. So I got to the end of that bit, and I went left again, which brought me back to where I was the first time. And so I had to go round again. And I thought, this is ridiculous. Why is there not a sign that just says exit? There wasn't one, right? And so I was going round like 3 times before I thought, I'm just going to go right here, even though...
And then you got out, yeah?
Well, because once I went right...
do you know what? I'm lost.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even there.
Yeah. And so then I still had to follow the road. There's still no sign of an exit. And then as I turned right, finally, I realised I was then going back towards where the entrance was, and that was indeed where the exit was.
Did you not just think, head towards daylight?
Well, you couldn't, though.
You can't do it. Get out of a car park going, where's the daylight?
No, because there was daylight coming from all sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hold on. Talking of daylight, there's going to be less of it, and we're moving on to Kev.
This is the best one ever.
This is the best grump ever. Please tell us, what are you grumpy about?
Autumn or fall, if you're watching in America.
Autumn.
I don't know. We're in it now, aren't we? And there's something very, very depressing about autumn because, as you go through the spring, you look forward to the summer, and then the summer happens. And then, so I was just in Cornwall on a holiday, and the first week it was the summer.
Yeah.
It was the summer. And then the season turned, and we went into autumn. and you just start thinking, well, pretty soon it's going to be winter, and we'll be back in the crap again.
See,
so it's the portent
I don't mind the winter, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't mind autumn.
I don't mind the winter, but I lament the passing of summer. I'm sad that summer's over. So autumn reminds me of the sadness I feel that summer is ending.
When you lived in LA, though, there was no seasons at all.
There was
never autumn. It was always summer, right?
Yeah.
Which
Do you think that's what's affected you?
I think it might be. People, when you live in LA, people just don't get it. We used to get really excited on the sort of 3 days a year where it actually rained. And we always take the dog out for when it was actually raining because it was like brilliant.
But when it was absolutely tipping it down a while back there, when it was like, oh yeah, summer's over now, look at the rain.
Yeah.
It's that thing that people, it's so good for the garden though.
Yeah.
Well, that's another country thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What if you haven't got a garden?
No, exactly.
You know,
what if you've just got blocked drains?
In London, you haven't got a garden, pretty much.
And you haven't got efficient drainage.
No.
I've got a garden, but it's concrete.
But you see, I don't mind autumn
It's a
so
roof
much.
garden.
What I hate is February. Just generally. February is like a long Tuesday, isn't it?
No, you see, the thing I like about the winter is the fire. You like to
Yeah,
get the
it's
fire
quite. I agree
on,
with
right?
that.
I like that.
I quite
So you
like
put the fire
that
on,
inside, yeah.
But then...
Not setting fires.
No,
like
I love
a
setting
sort of-
fires. No, I set them outside as well.
What, in a sort
Just
of
sets fire
illegal
to
way?
He's a pyromaniac.
Are
No,
you
I've
the
got an
twisted fire
Sets fire
starter?
to his
No,
neighbour's
absolutely
house.
not. I've got an incinerator, right? And I've also got
And what do you put in it?
People.
just stuff that I burn at the weekend.
Babies.
left wing
Stuff
people.
that I burn at the weekend. What do you mean by that?
My house, right? My house. They're always getting deliveries of things, right? Constantly boxes arrive.
Yeah.
So there's always like a load of boxes to burn. You know.
So
cases
look,
of
if
wine.
what you're saying is, if Kev and I need to get rid of anything,
Yeah.
we can take
absolutely.
it down to your
because
incinerator.
because you can either recycle stuff or you just burn it, right? And you can burn it. It's very satisfying, right?
You're not worried. Your neighbours aren't worried about Mike Graham's toxic
We've
fumes.
actually in Sussex, it's got a very big garden, and there aren't really any neighbours. It's on farmland, so you know.
Hold on, are we back in the countryside?
Back in the countryside.
Back
yeah.
in the countryside.
But I mean, the other thing about burning stuff is that you can blow smoke as much as you like.
Sorry, I was not up some.
Well, one of the
Where you live, you can.
Yeah,
It
one
wouldn't
of the
be very
times-
good where I
You've been
live.
down there. I mean, I once did it, and it turns out there was some kind of hornet's nest in the tree.
And they all came out.
They don't like smoke.
They don't like smoke at all, but I smoked them out.
Good.
And then I
I
had to
don't
run
like
in
a
the house so
hornet.
they didn't sting me to death.
Hornets and wasps. What's
You'd
the
like to
point?
spend the weekend
I
in
know.
like a fireman's outfit.
Yeah. With a hose, just in case it
if
gets out of control.
if you are burning something,
Yeah.
am I correct in thinking the only thing that will be left is the teeth?
Yeah, I
teeth
think that's right.
of a body.
As long as it's hot enough.
Can you collect those? Because what I'm grumpy about is the expense of dentists.
Oh, yes.
They're having a laugh now, aren't they?
Yeah. If you
It's
can
just-
get one.
Well, no, you can't get one on the NHS.
No.
So then you've got to go to a dentist, right? Now, look,
Yeah.
I give them, they studied for a long time. They've got a skill set.
A lot of them wanted to be doctors, you know, and they didn't make it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's worrying.
It
Tell you
is.
what, though, you get yourself a dental surgery in Harley Street or Wigmore Street.
Well, he's got some great dental stories.
You're going to make a lot more money than doctors.
But
I'll
I
tell you.
was talking to Chuck, our producer, about this before, and
Yeah.
he talked to a receptionist who said, yeah, sometimes they just make it up. The prices. So when
Price.
you're there,
Yeah.
if they think you're going to pay,
Yeah.
in other words, you're not getting it on the NHS, they take a look at you and go, yeah, it's going to be 400 quid.
Yeah.
And you're there going, oh, whatever,
Right.
you know, because I don't know about
Well, you don't have a price structure, do you, in your head?
Well, now I'm paying a bit more attention to it because weirdly, as I've got older, turns out my teeth need more attention.
Well, you know these ones here.
Yeah.
You know how much they cost?
The front teeth.
These ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the whole lot.
Do you go to Turkey
much?
for those?
No, I'm on Harley Street.
No.
How much?
I see.
15 grand.
What?
15 grand. Best
So
money
you
I ever
put us,
spent.
you put us, what was there before?
Well, it was pretty horrid.
Other
No,
teeth.
it was pretty horrid in my front tooth because I've got Scottish teeth basically,
Yes.
which are actually worse
Yes.
than British teeth.
Yes, they are.
And so the front tooth was so loose, it was about to come out.
Oh, wow.
And I went to the National Health and I said, and I was starting to do more kind of filming stuff, you know, and it was sort of black and, you know, pretty awful from smoking, you know, for 40 years or something like that, drinking red wine, coffee.
It's breathing in the fumes from your fires.
Well, there's that as well, you know. And I went to the NHS and they said, all right, well, so I said, can you just make me a false tooth for it? And they went, well, we can, but the thing is, if we take a mould of it, it might come out while we're doing it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I can't have like no tooth in the front. I said, I'm working, broadcasting. They went, yeah. I said, how long would it take to get me another one? They went, about a week.
You've got a bit of a history with teeth, haven't you?
You must be joking. I mean, I've spent millions of pounds on dentists. I've had all these phases.
Yours come out on TV.
I've had these phases in my life.
The famous tooth that came out on TV.
The tooth that came, but when I was in LA, I experienced this sort of dental emergency. Suddenly, like, all these fillings all fell out at once. So
they just went, we've had enough.
Yeah.
We can't do it in here anymore.
They came out in sympathy with each other.
So you know, people get like scared of going to the dentist. I was going to the dentist so much and having all these sort of root canals.
I heard that.
And all this stuff. I stopped being at all frightened of going to the dentist. It just became like the norm. And I was having this root canal once. And suddenly, get this. And it's the dentist saying, "Wake up!" I fell asleep in the middle of it.
So used to it.
And then I came back here, as Mike will know, what was it, about a year or so ago?
Yeah.
I went through another huge phase of dental work, which
it's
involved
so
at one point a temporary
But you know
tooth
what?
that fell out.
I was still smoking at the time as well, which is why I gave up, because they said to me, look, if you keep smoking, there's no point, because it'll all just recede and you'll be wasting your money. So in 3 years, I saved back the money by not buying cigarettes.
Well, there we go. How much was he smoking?
A lot. $5,000 a year.
You still giving up, Mark?
Yeah, no, I don't smoke. Never have. Welcome back to part two. Mike, you're anti-demonstrators.
Yeah.
You're grumpy about demonstrators.
I'm grumpy about demonstrators. I'll tell you why. There's too many of them. London is now like demonstrator central, right? What weekend can you say that you've walked anywhere? I mean, Kev knows this, because at the beginning of all the Palestinian stuff...
I think it's because people are working 35-hour weeks. They've got nothing else to do.
Well, the tube strike guys, they're not demonstrating either. They've just decided to stop working.
They just stop.
But I know Kevin and his wife went down to central London a few weeks in a row when the original pro-Palestine things were going on. Initially, I think the first time, just got caught up in it. But you can't basically go into central London any weekend now, whether it's Saturday, whether it's Sunday, whether it's right-wingers, left-wingers, free basers, whatever the hell they are. They're all demonstrating about something.
Usually Palestine.
Yeah, usually Palestine, but they had
it's very popular, that.
An anti-Semitic demonstration. I mean, it wasn't an
anti-Semitic demonstration.
Sorry.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean.
You're right, though. Every time, so for example,
sorry, he's gone here.
This Saturday, I'm going down to London to a restaurant, and you have to factor. You're right. You have every
factor in the demonstration.
Yeah, so I said, we'll go to the.
And they've shut tube stations.
Yeah, my wife said, it's going to be a big demo every single week. It's going to be a big demo.
Right.
You should come out to the country. There's no demonstrations there.
Yeah, but they all come to London to demonstrate.
Yeah,
the
that's
tractors.
Right. Yeah.
That's another one. Where they block up the whole thing. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're in favour of what they're doing or against it. I'm just against all the demonstrations. And people will go, but it's our democratic right. When I was up in Birmingham, of course, in the Friday afternoon, I walked into the conference centre and there was all these, say it loud, say it clear, refugees are welcome here, and pointing at people and calling them all fascists, right? When I went back in the next morning at 9:20, they weren't there because they hadn't got up yet, And so I just find them tedious.
Well, the previous day might have been exhausting. Like
it could have been, yeah. All with loud hailers and banners and, everywhere you go, there's just a demonstration.
And they're not...
It's like the new thing.
They're sort of not really protesting or demonstrating. They're coming together to virtue signal to each other and to tell each other how wonderful they are. All those fascists, we're not fascists. All those terrible...
But if you went up to them and went, I've got a plane ticket to go there right now.
Yes.
Do you want to come and help?
Yes. No.
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 Do you mind if I don't?
Do you remember the early Palestinian marches after October the 7th? And everybody was going down there and they were doing TV interviews, and it turned out that literally about 20% of the demonstrators didn't know where Gaza was, didn't really know about Palestine.
And didn't know what the river to the sea meant.
Didn't know what the river to the sea meant. So, they just go down there for a kind of communal...
It's a jolly...
It's exactly what it is.
And I'm afraid it has to stop.
Some like-minded people.
It should stop. They should ban them. They should have, like the Chinese do. They go, right, have a demonstration, have it over there.
Yeah.
Go to Hyde Park
It's sort
corner.
of large,
you can
large-scale kettling.
Have a
I
rally.
think they call it.
Have a rally in Hyde Park. It's very nice. It's nice and green. You can wander about, and you don't cause any trouble to anybody else. That's what I would say to them.
You just expand out from Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
Do you know the Palestine Action thing where all these demonstrators...
And that's the other thing. They're all getting arrested all the time.
Yeah. So if I was the government or the police or something, so there's something now, there's a backlog of about 2,000 people who've been arrested and ostensibly charged with...
Well, it's not a proper day out if you don't get arrested,
But what I would do if I was the government, I'd move hell and earth to actually prosecute every single one of them, send them to jail for 5 years. That would pretty much
and then they would stop them. Because it stops all the Just Stop Oil lots and they started locking them up.
You send these middle-class idiots to jail, they stop demonstrating.
Now that Greta Thunberg has stolen Rachel Reeves' original hair.
Yes.
She seems unstoppable.
Well,
she?
I think she was stopped, though. Was there not a drone attack on her flotilla the other day?
You mean the selfie yacht?
The selfie yacht, the Flotilla of Peace, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It blew up, but they don't know why.
Yeah, the RDF have no idea how it got blown up.
How did that blow
How did
up?
she sort of seamlessly stop bothering about the environment and become obsessed with Palestine?
I think it was I think she cut a fringe in.
Yeah.
I think that was the main thing.
Because climate change is so last year.
Yeah.
She cuts her own hair, you think, yeah? I mean,
With a knife and fork, judging.
Yeah, with a blindfold.
And a bowl.
With a blindfold.
And a bowl.
Now, Mike, that's all well and good, but Kev is going into some territory here that worries me. Football referees.
Yeah, crikey.
Well, while I was down in Cornwall...
have you been in Cornwall? You barely mentioned it.
Right. I was down in Cornwall and...
No football down there, is there?
No, well, there is if you watch it on the telly. So...
It's not quite the same.
So
no live games.
So at this stage of filming, Fulham have played about 3 big games. I haven't been to any of them. So I missed Man United at home. And Chelsea away is always a good day for us,
good day
for
of
Fulham
hate.
fans. There's only one team in Fulham and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I watched Chelsea Fulham on my computer. And the referee, some northern bloke, was just an absolute idiot. And it's this VAR thing. VAR.
Do we actually need them now?
Well, video assisted referees. The VAR thing now is the god of referees. Referees are told, you referee the game. This video is to assist you. But what they've done is they've turned the VAR into their god. It tells them what to do. They make no decisions themselves.
Well, I think it's...
They made a decision. We went 1-0 up, Fulham, in the first half. And it was so tragic. It was this kid, 18-year-old kid called Josh King. It's like his first full Premiership game. Got hold of the ball, brilliant, cut inside, fantastic goal. What a moment for this teenage kid. And the referee, goes over to VAR, and they find this alleged foul that was committed about 3 minutes earlier.
Right.
Nothing to do with it.
That's mad.
So they rewound it. Said, no, there's a foul here. Therefore, that goal doesn't stand. Therefore, still 0-0. We went on to lose. And after the game, the FA and the referees said, yeah, we got that wrong. That was wrong. Yeah. That was a wrong decision. Well, that cost us.
Well, surely they should then reappoint the goal.
But this was after the game.
No, I know. But shouldn't they then say since we
But I mean, if you look at how F1 works, for example, somebody can win a race, but if afterwards somebody decides something, they can have that taken away from them.
I know.
So if they're gonna sort of digitise it to that degree, then.
Because the problem is somebody has to make a decision, so they can't go to the referee because the VAR is what they should get rid of.
Exactly right, Mike. So we had a human error system, which wasn't always right, but it was very rarely disastrously wrong.
Right.
So I got VAR. There'll be no mistakes whatsoever from now on. Rubbish. VAR makes more mistakes than human error. So we are now all enthralled to this machine that makes loads of mistakes. It's ridiculous.
And they do this ridiculous thing where you can be offside because your finger is that much over the line.
Exactly right. And you get now when you're at the match, somebody scores, you just got this sort of ripple because you've then got to wait for the VAR decision.
No.
Yeah, it's ruined it.
It's ridiculous.
I found the same thing.
Would you, either of you, go on social media and share how upset you were by this?
I don't really get that upset.
I did share how upset I was on that.
But I mean, like, would you, for example, would you cry on social media?
I don't think so. No.
Why do people do that?
Because they're obsessed with themselves, and because unfortunately social media has made people think that they're on TV all the time.
They think they're famous.
They're famous, and so they think people care what they do.
What, like, so, but it's when, I think that thing of just, if you're going to overshare, stick to your lane. It's when one moment you're taking a picture of your food,
yes,
and showing us that,
yeah,
and the next minute you're crying about your mental health.
Oh God, no.
And then the next minute you're telling us that you're not very well.
Right. No, definitely not doing that.
And we all know that from watching your social media, not very well. But oversharing.
Oh, yeah, but it's not just on social media, is it? I mean, this is an illness that is sort of pervasive throughout society
now,
because people will do the same in person.
Yeah.
They'll tell you things that you didn't ask them about. You know, I don't want to know what people's darker inner secrets are.
What I mean,
unless I'm having a.
Do you know what you should do with emotions?
What?
Bottle them up.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Don't show emotions.
Push them down.
Push them down. Suppress them.
Yes.
It's very, very bad to let your feelings out.
Well, I mean, if you are,
well, actually,
if you're British, I'll tell you that.
If you're any of the big pharmacy companies, you want people to do that, because if you depress the emotions, then you end up depressed.
Yeah.
And you end up having to take the pills.
Do you think that's necessarily true? I think if you don't sort of give in to emotions, they'll just go away.
There's no question that there was a generation before us, our parents' generation, who certainly never overshared, and they never would. Yeah.
No.
You know? And you would never see... I mean, I saw an interview with Jacob Rees-Mogg recently, where somebody said to him, have you ever cried? And he went, of course not. He said, I'm not a child, and the woman interviewing him said, well, surely you must have cried about something, children being born. He said, no, I'm a man, we don't cry. What would I be crying for? And people were sort of aghast, going, oh my God, he's like some kind of automaton.
But then he does overshare on other things.
Yeah.
Well, like what?
I don't know, just his Jacob Rees-Mogg stuff.
Yeah. Moggist.
But do you know what? He annoyed me. He was on your show the other day. And I don't want politics to be like this. Because you asked him about Ed Miliband. So what about crazy Ed? So, I don't agree with the politics. Very nice man.
Very nice man.
Is he a nice man?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's a nice man. I hate politicians.
I've got to be honest, I don't think
he's on the other side, but we're very friendly.
I think Jacob's all right.
Is he?
He's okay.
He's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I've never met him.
He's actually quite
better than Ed Miliband.
He's certainly better than Ed Miliband, yeah.
Ed Miliband can't eat a bacon sandwich.
No.
Do you know that thing about...
Stitched up his own brother.
Former generations that were, stiff upper lip.
Worked out all right for his brother, though.
Remember the famous shot of the Queen when King Charles, or Prince Charles as he was then, was just a little kid. He was about 4 years old, and his little shorts on, his little cap. And the Queen and Prince Philip had been on a 6-week tour. And the plane touched down at Heathrow, BOAC or something like that. And the Queen got out, and little Prince Charles ran all excited across the runway to sort of jump into his mother's arms. She just stuck her hand out and shook his hand.
Well, I mean, that's British. That would explain an awful lot, but just